Now to Ole Miss and Georgia. Pete Golding, the coaching moment of the game is when Kirby ran on his offense and Pete already had defensive personnel out there, didn't flinch, didn't have to do a mass substitution. Now, Kirby says it wasn't supposed to be a snap there. It was supposed to be a dead count. We were trying to jump them off sides or delay a game. And the ball was snapped, even surprised Stetson, and you could tell the left tackle didn't even move. So he got a blow-by in the sack there. But that was a big moment in the game. I don't know about you guys. Lance, I'll start with you. Clock management, being aggressive in the fourth quarter. Everything Pete Golding did last night, I thought it was check, 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 yes, 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 as the look of a great head coach.
Yeah, and I think they fooled Georgia. They said with that final field goal, it was a 3rd and 3, and they said on the broadcast, like, Ole Miss has got to be careful because if they punt this away with 30 seconds, whatever it was, 34, 35 seconds, Georgia still got 3 timeouts. And I really believe the way Georgia, at least the alignment was, they thought Ole Miss was going to run it, be conservative, try to get this thing to overtime, and they go up top. And, yeah, I mean, look, Charlie Weiss Jr., Joe Cox, Joe Judge, you got to give all these guys credit because what they were able to do last night, especially once they were down 21-12, after the Kewan Lacy scoop and score fumble, I thought that game was over.
Yeah, I at first, Jim, when like you said, when you see the tackle not move and you can tell he's a little surprised to get the football, you wondered what was up there. I couldn't believe it when he sent the offense back out, though. Like, it made more sense when Kirby said it was supposed to be a dead count, try to draw them off sides. There was really no reason to go for that 4th down from that spot on the field, in my opinion. Now, again, that's easy to say when it doesn't work. But now that you know the whole story, that they were just trying to draw them off sides, it does make a little bit more sense. But much like Alabama's 4th down that failed very early in the game, that 4th down changed the game because, like Lance said, you end up getting a touchdown, and all of a sudden it's a 10-point game, and Georgia's playing uphill from that point on.
Yeah, and I think it was 24-12, then it was 24-19, and then Ole Miss gets the turnover and a quick touchdown, right? And then it's Katie bar the door, but then Georgia survives, and it's 34-34, and like LT said, you get that big 3rd and 5 with 32 seconds left, a 40-yard connection to Deshaun Stribling. Here's Pete Golding. After the game, I don't know if we have to bleep any of this, but my goodness, Pete Golding is not going to stop cussing. I don't care what microphone he's on. He's fantastic. He gets asked the difference in the second half for his Ole Miss Rebels.
What was the difference in the second half to be able to turn it on, and what were you telling your guys at halftime about it being that close still and that you're in it?
Yeah, I think, the first half we didn't leverage the ball very well on defense, and we were getting to the ball. We just had a lot of missed tackles, and this was an issue when we played them the first time. We had double-digit missed tackles and understanding angles and all that. So we weren't really concerned from a scheme standpoint. There wasn't anything at halftime that we were like, all right, we got to change a lot of things. We just got to execute better and get the guy with the ball on the ground. And then offensively, they didn't stop us in the first half. We turned one over and then did a poor job, obviously, with the clock at the end, to not get 3. So wasn't concerned about that at all. We just said, look, I told them all, take a deep breath, right? Let's go play one at a time. And we got good enough players. We got good enough players to beat anybody. And so when they're on the same page, we will beat anybody.
I mean, he managed the timeouts to have that little few seconds left to try to get in field goal range. He went for it on some 4th downs and made it. Helped out that Trinidad Chambliss had the game of his life with 362 yards passing. But, I mean, there were a lot of tough decisions that Pete Golding had to make in that game as a guy who's got 2 he's the defensive coordinator, and you could see him on the sidelines, LT, still walking around looking at tapes while the offense is out there. But he's making all the head coaching calls too. And there was no flaw in his game. There was no flaw in his game as a head coach.
Yeah, he looks like a head coach. It was funny, we were talking about on Monday or Tuesday, whenever it was, previewing this game. You've got a guy that has 1 career win as a head coach going against a guy that has 2 national championships.
There's such a mismatch, right?
And everybody thought it would be,
but it wasn't.
And I ended up staying away from that game, but it's so easy to pull for Pete Golding right now. How you go from one of the most unlikable coaches in football to such a likable guy, but he's just owning it right now.
Now, when you say unlikable, you meant that Alabama fans didn't really like him. No, you're talking about Lane,
Lane Kiffin, yeah.
Okay, I
You,
got
you could use either way, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you could.
Okay.
Alabama fans weren't big Pete Golding fans as far as his defense, but man, just an incredible story right now. And I don't know how you guys feel about this. I mean, I think Ole Miss is a better team than Miami. I know Miami's everybody's darlings right now. I think Ole Miss is going to end up playing for the national championship.
Think about that.
Which is they're the sole survivor right now when it comes to the conference, the SEC. But man, just amazing. I would think that people that don't really have a dog in the fight are going to be pulling for Ole Miss.
Not pull for him, Jim, because I mean I'm just watching. On our return screen here, the press conference, he just looks like they went up in the stands and they're like, all right, see that fan on row 12? Let him come do the post-game press conference.
Well, he might have to get that fan to come be one of the assistants. Like, hey, Dunaway, you can get more into this, but like nobody expected this. So now what does Lane Kiffin do with these guys?
Because today the portal opens, Jim, and half his staff is in Oxford, Mississippi.
Here's the update. Only Charlie Weiss Jr. got on the plane and flew back with Ole Miss. The other assistants who have signed contracts with LSU stayed in Louisiana. Now, Lane has sent out a release saying that he's very transparent with Pete Golding. The plan has been in place. They will continue to help with the historic championship run. But, and Lane's fueling this. He tweeted out a picture back on Tuesday night of all the LSU assistants who are still helping Ole Miss working with LSU. And, Kiffin tweeted out the picture. We're all working late for LSU here. And it was just a shot at the Ole Miss folks because it was all the guys who were supposed to be preparing for Ole Miss, and they did a heck of a job. But Joe Cox, George McDonald, and Kevin Smith, according to Slayball, didn't get on the plane to go back to Oxford with the team. Only Charlie Weiss Jr. did. They said in the broadcast that Charlie Weiss Jr. has told Lane that if I can't finish the run with Ole Miss, that I'm not coming with you to LSU. I will stay at Ole Miss.
Ooh.
So they said that in the broadcast that Charlie Weiss Jr. has told Kiffin that if you make me choose leaving these guys and not finishing the deal, I will come back. I will stay at Ole Miss.
There is, and now we discussed this yesterday, whether Kiffin was pulling for Ole Miss or not. But there is no doubt in my mind at this moment, Ole Miss got a good shot at winning a national championship, and or at least playing for one. There is no doubt in my mind that Lane Kiffin does not want Pete Golding winning a national championship or playing for one before he does.
No,
I don't think he's going to remain cooperative at all in this.
And it's very realistic, as you said, that they could win this. And then you got to start to think, Lane Kiffin's got to get a ring out of this.
Oh, no. No, there is nobody at Ole Miss that's giving Lane Kiffin a ring.
I'm just saying though, but I mean, he's the guy that actually built this foundation.
Yep. Yeah. He could go to the website and buy the commemorative, but he ain't getting one from Ole Miss.
Listen,
I know what you're saying.
I know Archie Manning is old, but they still honor Archie Manning in the building at the Superdome. There's even Archie Manning. His number's retired there as a Saint. Archie Manning may be one of the most popular Louisiana people of all time. But he's popular at Ole Miss as well. Archie Manning calls Lane Kiffin a narcissist, and they played that soundbite during the pregame. We're happy with the coaching staff we have. Best of luck to our former narcissist coach in his next job, but he called him a narcissist. Wow. And Archie Manning's one of the nicest. I mean, Archie Manning's one of the nicest guys ever,
yep.
And he called him a narcissist. No, I don't think he gets a ring at all. If he does, he buys it himself with Ole Miss's money or with LSU's money.
Probably would do that.
Yeah, LSU's giving him Ole Miss bonus money, so just buy a ring with it, I guess.